Hey everybody, Home/Henry here, and today I'm going to be discussing a pretty important topic. How do pro players win more Pokemon Go PvP games than the average player? Is it luck, or is there something more going on? But first, I'm going to explain a little bit about myself. My name is Home/Henry, and I am a caster for the Pokemon Go Championship Series, the official competitive circuit for Pokemon Go PvP. I myself battle on the in-game ladder and have reached top 50 in the world each of the past few seasons. And today, I'm here to make the argument that while luck may have a small factor in determining game outcomes, in the long run, skill will triumph, and I'm going to be showcasing some ways that you can improve your gameplay to win more games just like the pro players do. To start with, I believe that you can break down competitive Pokemon Go PvP into a game of advantages. These include switch advantage, shield advantage, and of course, energy advantage. To start with, let's talk about switch advantage. This is the most straightforward advantage, one that newer players tend to play to the most. If your opponent switches out, you get to choose which Pokemon that you send in, giving you a pretty significant advantage. If your opponent safe switches a Talonflame, for example, and you quickly respond with Feraligatr, you're probably in a winning position. Therefore, maintaining switch advantage if you have it, or winning switch advantage if you don't, can be a big advantage. Now I'm going to showcase a clip from a regional championship where switch advantage plays a pivotal role. Memi Chinflona picks up a nightmare lead Azumarill into Toxapex. That is the worst meta matchup for Azumarill. So he safe switches into Malamar, and his opponent Marto Galde responds with Azumarill. Malamar, a dark-type Pokemon, into the fairy subtyping of Azumarill. This matchup does not seem great on paper. But what Memi knows is that Malamar in the 2-shield, with the combination of a lot of resisted foul plays and the neutral Psywaves, can actually flip switch versus Azumarill, so that's exactly what Memi is playing to here. Memi's saying no matter what happens, I need to play for switch advantage, so that way Azumarill is not on Toxapex. Even if that means going down 2 shields, he's saying, I have no choice. I cannot possibly win this game if Azumarill is on Toxapex. Marto is actually going to give up switch advantage, knowing that he's not going to be able to win it. He was just going to get farmed down, so he aggressively switches in Toxapex, commits a shield, and picks up a knockout with a brine. But now with switch advantage, Memi has freed up his Azumarill. His Azumarill now will actually have play, and Cresselia will be able to chip away with neutral Grass Knots. An overfarm here by Marto, he's going to look to connect with a Sludge Wave. Memi already used both the shields in the match. That's the gamble that he made, is that if he can free up the Azumarill and use all of his shields, then he can have a chance to win. Dunsparce is going to win the CMP tie here, firing off this Drill Run. Drill Run does a little bit of damage into the Azumarill, but again, Azumarill's energy is actually useful now. Because Memi played for switch advantage, Play Rough actually does very nice damage, whereas Play Rough, Ice Beam, none of those moves would do basically any damage into the Toxapex. Drill Run is going to connect onto the Azumarill. Azumarill is going to return fire now with an Ice Beam. Marto will commit the shield. Marto going to switch into the Toxapex. There's a quick switch into the Cresselia, and Cresselia will be firing off the Grass Knot. Grass Knot into the Toxapex does not KO. Marto faints as he makes it to the brine. That is catastrophic for Marto, as now he just doesn't have a lot of health remaining. In comes the Dunsparce. Dunsparce can go for the Drill Run, but Cresselia is too healthy. It withstands the damage. It makes the Moonblast. Can Moonblast deliver a knockout here? Dunsparce, can it hang on? No, it cannot. In comes the Azumarill. Memi brings in his own Azumarill, and by playing for switch advantage, he's able to secure the win. The next advantage I'm going to be talking about is energy advantage. If you have more energy than your opponent, then you have an ability to flip negative matchups into positive ones. Let's actually revisit that Talonflame Feraligatr matchup that we talked about in the beginning. If you're on even energy, it's going to be a very bad time for the Talonflame, as Feraligatr is able to outpace and one-shot. But if Talonflame enters the matchup in the Zero Shield with a Brave Bird loaded, then that matchup completely flips on its head, as Brave Bird is able to one-shot the Feraligatr. So keeping in mind, even if you don't have switch advantage, you can potentially try and play for an energy lead that can flip bad matchups into good ones. And now I'm going to be showcasing a great game featuring Nighttime Clasher, where he's able to use a small energy advantage to flip bad alignment into a winning game. As we move into the match, Nighttime Clasher gets the best possible lead, Skarmory into Shadow Gligar. But that happiness is short-lived as there's an Annihilate save switch. He did not bring his own Gligar, so he has no hard counter response. Instead, he's forced to bring in Whiscash, but Whiscash honestly does not do great at keeping switch here. Annihilate is going to play to the CMP tie, it wins it quite handily, going for the Shadow Ball connects, Whiscash barely able to hang on, but Tomahawk has achieved his goal. He's one switch advantage, and he still has a pretty healthy Annihilate that has a Night Slash ready to go. Nighttime Clasher brings in the Skarmory looking for the farm down, and Annihilate, instead of going for the Shadow Ball, goes for the double Night Slash, grabs the shield back and gets some chip damage, and things have now completely swung in Tomahawk's favor. Now the Annihilate for Nighttime Clasher is going to be aligned against the Gligar. This Annihilate is running Ice Punch, but Gligar outpaces it. It's 5 wing attacks to an Aerial Ace and 6 counters to an Ice Punch. The only way Nighttime Clasher can win this game is with a 2-counter head start, so here's his play. He's going to switch instantly. Tomahawk throws the Ice Shard, but it's too late. He gets the 2-counter head start that he needs, and now this matchup turns from a bad one into a good one. Tomahawk shakes his head. He realizes what Nighttime Clasher has done. The back-to-back Aerial Aces are reached, but Nighttime Clasher has played his way out of this situation. He turns a bad matchup into a good one with an energy lead. Ice Punch KOs. Back in comes the Dugong. Dugong looking to pick up a knockout with a Drill Run. Drill Run does not KO. The Dugong survives on 1 HP, but Skarmory Steel Wings down. Nighttime Clasher fights back thanks to an energy advantage and still secures the win. The final advantage is shield advantage. And let's revisit that Talonflame for Alligator matchup that we have been discussing quite a bit throughout the course of this video. In even shielding scenarios, it's a dominant win for Alligator. Talonflame just gets outpaced and it gets one shot with Hydro Cannon. However, if Talonflame has a shield advantage, let's say for example Talonflame has 1 shield while Feraligatr has 0, suddenly the matchup flips. Talonflame can shield the Hydro Cannon, KO the Feraligatr with the Brave Bird, and suddenly it's a good matchup for Talonflame. And this is what a lot of the pro players are able to do. Even though they can't win switch advantage in some games, they can play to an energy advantage or a shield advantage and still emerge victorious. I find one of the biggest things that newer players struggle with is they tend to view matchups as very static and unchanging. The water type will always beat the fire type. But if you're able to play like the pro players do to an energy advantage or shield advantage when you don't have switch, then you can oftentimes emerge victorious even when the cards are stacked against you. To demonstrate how a shield advantage can win a game, I'm going to be showcasing a regionals game between Lyle Jeffs III and 610 Hero. This match begins with a very neutral lead, leading Malamar into Shadow Quagsire. Taking a look at the backline for Lyle, Lyle has Shadow Drapion and Shadow Kanto Marowak, neither of which are big fans of the Quagsire, so for him, seeing the Quagsire here on the lead is pretty nice. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it to a second move before Quagsire makes the Aqua Tail, so Lyle is going to expend Shield. Lyle firing off the foul play, trying to land some damage, but 610 Hero says no, committing the shield, and 610 Hero is going to be firing off this Aqua Tail. Lyle chooses to let it go. He's conceding switch advantage, but he's going to be saving a shield. He brings in the Drapion. Does he use it here? No. Instead, he's taking a look at the team sheet and saying, I believe that my Shadow Marowak with a shield will be able to sweep in this endgame. Drapion pretty low already, picking up a knockout with an Aqua Tail. In comes Azumarill, and Azumarill is going to take some pretty decent damage here from the Poison Stings and the Resisted Crunches, and now it's time. Unleashing his sweeper in the back, the Shadow Marowak. With a shield to hide behind, this matchup is a lot more fine for the Marowak. And with no shields for the Azumarill, it's going to be in serious trouble as back-to-back Bone Clubs are reached. Azumarill will get KO'd unless it switches into the Toxapex, but this is not a good matchup for 610 Hero. So leveraging this shield advantage has been key for Lyle, as Lyle just gets to absolutely shred the hopes and dreams of this entire backline. Bone Club connects, down goes Toxapex, Azumarill will fire off the Ice Beam. Kanto Marowak with a shield advantage almost KO'd 2 Pokemon by itself, and Drapion's here for cleanup duty, making the Aqua Tail, knocking out the Azumarill, and Lyle is able to advance in the tournament. For the final battle, I'm going to be showcasing one of the best played games of competitive Pokemon Go PvP ever. A game where a battler faces near insurmountable odds, being triple countered, never having switch advantage once, but he's able to perfectly leverage shield advantage and energy advantage to win under nearly impossible circumstances. The stage, the 2024 Pokemon Go World Championships. The battler is Marto Galde. He's going up against Basti, and Marto gets a nightmare lead, Lickitung into Vigoroth. He is going to look to save switch into Lantern, and Lantern is unfortunately going to get met with a Lickitung very quickly, as Lickitung does have a very, very good matchup. Basti chooses to get some chip damage with the Body Slam, and then bring in the Lickitung, and Lickitung is going to be able to absorb energy from this Lantern like it's nothing while returning fire with super effective Power Whips. Going for the Power Whip here, going to lose the CMP tie, but realistically, a Surf is still not threatening, so he can let this go, look to pick up the knockout with the Power Whip, and Marto is going to get his Lantern KO'd. Marto brings in his Lickitung. He is not able to win switch advantage, so he's going to have to make something happen. He's going to tank the Body Slam. He has a Body Slam of his own, but he's not going to throw it. He knows he needs a serious energy lead, an energy advantage, if he wants any chance in this game. So he's not going to throw. He's just going to keep farming. He's going to look to double resisted Lick Farm all the way down and exit with 100 energy. So he's traded almost all his health in exchange for 100 energy, and now he gets to unleash this energy onto Vigoroth. Body Slam number 1 connects. Vigoroth so far behind in terms of energy. There's almost 2 more Body Slams ready to go. That Body Slam will connect. This third Body Slam will knock out. Basti is going to go down a shield, and now Marto has converted the energy advantage into a shield advantage, and he's going to need that shield advantage, as in the back is a Shadow Gligar. Gligar going to grab a shield with the Aerial Ace. Marto farming up to the back-to-back Seed Bombs. Basti chooses to let this through, and a Seed Bomb is not going to threaten a knockout. Marto will immediately be pressured by another Aerial Ace, and there goes his final shield. This Whimsicott is going to need to put in so much work, building up to the back-to-back Seed Bombs. Basti choosing to let this go. He's going to bring in the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is going to be hit with the Seed Bomb, and that's going to force the final shield. Marto has a catch available. Basti overfarms, and he gets it right. He perfectly predicts a 2-counter overfarm, gets the catch. In comes the Whimsicott, gets the Seed Bomb, and despite being triple countered, Marto perfectly leverages a massive energy advantage into a shield advantage, gets a perfect catch, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a game that 99% of battlers, maybe 99.99% of battlers cannot win, but Marto won that game. And to me, that game shows the power of the possible with competitive Pokemon Go PvP. Or even if you're just in Go Battle League. This is a game where if you put in the time, you work to get better and start looking at these matchups more the way that pros do. Looking at them in terms of, how can I generate an advantage? Not everything is about switch advantage. If I can't get switch, can I get an energy advantage? Can I get a shield advantage? And can those advantages potentially flip a losing situation into a winning one? So if you try to view matchups from a less static lens and more in terms of a fluid gameplay, where I can potentially flip this into a good position if I'm able to play well, then I think you're going to find the game becomes a lot more enjoyable as a whole, and you're able to, from time to time, pull off some pretty impossible wins. Thank you everyone for watching. This is going to be the first in a series that I do periodically on this, of course, my second channel, where I do try and break down the game in a way that higher level players see it, to kind of be instructional content, so that way people can kind of see how more experienced players view the game and apply some of it to their own gameplay. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to get better, so this is me trying to put some resources out in the world to help make that just a little bit easier. Thank you guys oh so very much, and until next time, I've been Home Sliced Henry.